Hello, Mackle James Shadackle Nation. Welcome back to another S tier character tier list. This time, it's The Office. Office, I think it's a good show. I really do. I think it's a show that needs to fuck off for like 10 years, and then we can appreciate it again. I think that it's gotten a little less obnoxious, though. I haven't heard of a new podcast about The Office coming out in quite some time now. Yeah, it feels like it had like a really, really popular resurgence like a year or two ago, and there's just so much shit on it. And it's a cool show. I like the show, but it is not the best show ever made. But I get the wide appeal to it. I think it's a very easy show to watch. I think it's a very easy show to get in. It's a show that will make you feel uncomfortable, but not too uncomfortable. So it is kind of addicting and fun to watch. I get the appeal of it. I will never talk about it again after this video, and I think everybody else should follow in that footstep. In most of the time, I say D isn't actually that bad. It's just inoffensive. But since this one doesn't have an F list, and I don't feel like editing the list, D is bad in this. If you get a D in this one, you fail. So let's just start. You have Michael Scott, good character, S tier character. I like him. I feel like he's probably going to be the S tier on most people's list. To me, he is the show. He is the character that makes the show what it is. I don't hate seasons 8 and 9. I do think they are notably less good without him there, though. Oscar. B. I like Oscar a lot of the time, but I think other times it's just kind of pretentious and annoying. He can be a very entitled and like I said, just pretentious character sometimes, but he also has his moments. I'm not gonna act like he's bad 100% of the time. David Wallace, weird how much I like him, because he kind of seems like a boring character on the surface, but I think just how real of a person he seems makes it amusing when he's interacting with a character like Michael Scott. I also think his midlife crisis arc is kind of funny. Yeah, I like David Wallace. Gabe, I don't know if I hate Gabe as much as everyone else. I agree he's a low tier character. Again, if this was a normal list, D tier, but the D tier is now an F tier, so he's a C tier. But in actuality, he wouldn't normally be a C tier. He's kind of annoying, but he has his moments. That's the best thing I could say. I think the show also constantly punishes him, so it's not like he's annoying without punishment for being annoying. I don't hate him as much as everyone else does. I agree in terms of like new characters. He's not very good, but most of the new characters aren't very good. I don't think he is the worst character that they added to the show. Jim Halpert, good character, good A tier character. I like Jim. He's funny. It's funny seeing the shit he stirs up with Dwight. I've noticed backlash amongst the fan base of The Office, where a lot of them, maybe not even a lot of them, maybe just a loud minority that I'm hearing, really fucking turn their backs on Pam and Jim and say, I hate them so much, they're selfish, they're horrible, I hate them more and more every time I watch the show. And it's like, that's fair enough, but if you don't like Jim and Pam, why are you watching The Office? They take up so much of the screen time. How can a character that you can't fucking stand listening to, how can you even like the show then? I understand Michael's still on there, I understand Dwight's still on there, but you know how much fucking of that screen time Jim and Pam take up? A lot. For the first 3 seasons, the story is revolved around them. Like, any continuity it has is revolved around Jim and Pam. How can you even tolerate this show if you don't like Jim and Pam? They're not S tier in my opinion, but they're good main characters. I'm good with them. Kevin. Kevin was fine in the earlier seasons, and then they made him so unbelievably stupid, and maybe to some people that was funny. To me, it just felt really obvious. His character became predictable. He's going to say the dumbest possible thing imaginable, and that's the joke every single time with him, and there's nothing else to him. This lady who comes in, she's fine. I don't remember any... put her in B. I actually did enjoy her as a character. I enjoyed the uncomfortable scenes it led to. between her and Michael. And I like the scene where Dwight shoots a gun off in the office and they have a little chit chat. Phyllis is okay. There's episodes I really like Phyllis. There's episodes where Phyllis is annoying me. There's moments on the show, because like a lot of the characters will talk back to Michael because he's often being crazy. But I recall times where Phyllis was giving Michael a hard time over something really fucking petty. Sometimes it's just he mispronounces a word and she's like, Michael, that's not actually how you say that. Fuck off, Phyllis. Save it for when he actually does something fucked up. He'll do it. Wait. Just wait for it. Phyllis isn't bad, isn't great. Nellie. I hate Nellie. She's a little better in season 9 than she is in season 8. I think they made her funnier in season 9. But holy shit, did she annoy the living shit out of me when they added her to the show. I did not enjoy her character. And then in season 9, it's whatever. They kind of try to set up a story with her, and then they rush it near the end because they focus on her near the beginning of the season and then completely forget about her for a while. I think that her character, for the most part, is one addition that I did not enjoy. This is the guy who takes over for a while. He himself isn't that great. He's kind of unlikable, but I like the story arc. I'll put him there for the story arc, because unless, I think that's him, right? That's the person, yeah, that's the person who takes over for Michael when he quits to make the Michael Scott company. And he is an unlikable character. I think you're supposed to not like him, but he also, at the same time, is kind of like it's again just a more reasonable person coming to work in the office, like a more realistic person who would not put up with the same shit that Michael would put up. So there is kind of an interesting contrast there between the two. But also, I love the Michael Scott Paper Company storyline, and I like how he is able to make certain characters appreciate Michael more, because some of the characters do not like this guy very much. This is the Dwight Jr. I think the 2 new characters that they added in season 9 are pretty bad, but at least Dwight Jr. over here, I don't remember his name. At least he had his own thing. At least, like, I feel like he was different enough from Dwight, where Plop, we'll get to Plop, isn't different from Jim enough at all, and it just kind of feels like they wanted to recapture something they had in season 1. And Plop is a completely pointless character. Yeah, no, let's just take Plop. He's in the F tier. He's in the D tier. Plop sucks. I've seen the actor and stuff I like, and I've heard good things about the actor for Nellie. Is that Mose? That's Mose. Mose is funny. Very, very, like, just a bit character. Only appears in short bursts, but always enjoyable. Who's this guy again? Is he a janitor? Is he the janitor he doesn't work in the warehouse. I think he's the janitor, but I only remember a few scenes of him. He's fine. Dave, no, not David Wallace. What's this guy's name again? It's Michael's douchey friend. He is horrible. I mean, I'm not gonna put him in F because he serves a purpose. I think he is very annoying, but he serves a purpose, and he benefits certain episodes and certain characters. Like, the fact that Michael even wants to be friends with him says a lot about Michael as a character. Michael is an interesting character to explore, and this prick kind of contributes to it. So even though I don't like him, I can't say he feels like he's pointless, where I would say these two are just, they're not fun to watch, and they don't add anything. Interesting, I should say. Stanley. I love Stanley. Stanley's great. He's such a... to me, he has like some of the best responses out of anyone. Where he doesn't try to explain things to Michael. He doesn't try, like, he just gives a very general, like, fuck off attitude when it comes to Michael and his shenanigans. I think the episode where he says, "Did I stutter?" That one's really great. Just really great Stanley and Michael episode. I think Stanley's pretty enjoyable start to finish in the show. I think they always understood what his character was, and I don't think Flanderization ruined the character anyway. Holly, cute character. I like that they have like a female character who's like in a lot of ways similar to Michael. I like that connection that those two have. I like that she's replacing Toby, so Michael immediately expects to hate her. She's a very likable character, and I feel like they knew how to use her and didn't overdo it. Pam, I'll put in the A tier. How do you not like Pam? There's so many great moments of Pam. She grows so much as a character on the show too. Yeah, she has selfish moments. So do all of the characters. They're, like, every single character in The Office pisses me off at some point. But but yeah, that's kind of the point of the show. The show is supposed to make you uncomfortable, so they're gonna have the characters act in ways that make you feel uncomfortable sometimes. It's a cringe comedy show. Like, there's so many great moments of Pam. I love the fucking art museum one, and this, to be fair, is something that makes me love Michael more. But the one where, like, no one shows up to the art event except Michael, but it's like, obviously Michael was like, when he shows up, it's like, it's not like a last second thing. Like, he always planned on showing up. He's just like, any time a worker, like a worker of his is doing something, he wants to be there for it. And most of the time it's annoying to them, but this is a moment where it's like really sweet and wholesome. You get a lot of great moments like that with Pam. Pam's great. Daryl, good character. I like that he gets more to do as the show goes on. I like the warehouse days. I like the days where he's working in the office. I think he's good start to finish. I like him. Pam's ex-fiance. It gets the story told. It serves that function. Not really enjoyable outside of serving a role, but he's not a fucking F tier. Dwight is the S. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's kind of, this is such a normie list, isn't it? This is like where, I feel like this is where anyone would rank these characters. I mean, maybe some people like Nelly, maybe some people like Plop, but maybe some people would put Kevin higher. Maybe they like his silly shenanigans. But yeah, like, Michael and Dwight are probably the two most obvious S tier characters you could put up, but I really enjoy them. I think that they're a lot of fun. Angela, B tier. Angela has moments where I hate her and want to put her in the D tier, but I as a whole, I enjoy her character. As a whole, I I think she's funny. Kind of like an unlikable kind of funny, but to some extent, Stanley's that too. These aren't the most likable characters in existence, but I like Angela. Aaron is great until the last season, where the last two seasons, where season 8, it's just, all about hooking her up with Andy. And then in the final season, it's all about destroying that. And setting her up with Plop to do another Jim and Pam story. It's like, it gets so fucking lame, but I love the awkward Aaron in the first couple seasons that she's in. She's not even in the show from the beginning. But I really like her character when she's trying to bond with Michael. And at first, Michael isn't giving her the time of day, and just the conversations between them are so unbelievably awkward, but they feel so real to me. I think Aaron's like Aaron and Andy. I'll put Andy right next to her. I think could both be S tier characters if it wasn't for like those last two seasons, because I think they get really rough. I liked Andy as the boss, honestly. I thought he was a very likable boss. And then near the end of season 8, it starts getting a little rough. And then in season 9, holy shit, Andy sucks. I think he is horrible in the last season of the show. And then in the final episode, he's kind of back to his normal self. But it's such like whiplash there, where he just immediately becomes the biggest prick ever. And it's not... Again, is that just them trying to recapture Michael Scott? But the thing is, Michael Scott wasn't an asshole. I mean, okay, you could argue he was an asshole, but he was oblivious. He genuinely thought he was doing good most of the time. And anytime he lost his temper, he thought it was completely justified, or he would feel bad about it later. But like Andy's just a dickhead. Andy's just a fucking asshole in season 9, and I hate that. So again, if it wasn't for like seasons, like, for Aaron seasons 8 and 9, and for Andy season 9, I would put them both in the S tier, but they have a rough conclusion, I feel. And I don't think the last episode makes amends for all of it. I think they completely screwed up those two characters near the end. Vance Refrigeration. Fine. I like him. Robert California, honest to God, I'm not going to put him in the D tier. I thought he was fine. When they first introduced him, I thought he was interesting. I feel like the first half of season 8, he was an interesting character, and he wasn't like a full-blown replacement for Michael, because Andy becomes the boss. He just becomes an additional character that's there for that season. But I feel like halfway through the season, do they write the entire season in one go and then start filming it, or do they write some of it, film some of it and then like write and film the second half of it, because I swear like halfway through seasons 8, Robert California changes as a character. It's a complete 180. There is no slow transition into it. He goes from being one character to another character, where in the first half it's like he's crazy, but he's really competent. He knows what he's doing. And you start to see a lot of respect for the character. Even though he is really eccentric, you realize this guy actually knows what he's doing. And then the second half, it's just like, no, he's just a fucking lunatic. That's all there is to him. Anything like eloquent about the character at all is removed. And I hate that. Honest to God, he'd be a pretty high up character if they kept the flow they had going for the first half of season 8, because I thought he was interesting. I thought he added something. I swear, like, when things just didn't... I feel like The Office was like a show that was taking risks after they wrote Michael off. Like, they were like going to try to take it in a more interesting direction, like, because like what else are you going to do? But instead, no, it just became a fucking mess. It just became a fucking mess. Because it feels like they started doing that and then they backtracked because they wanted to try to make characters act more like the ones that are no longer on the show. Didn't enjoy that. Her, girl who dates Jim in season 3, she's likable enough. She works pretty well for that season. What's her name? I want to call her Mindy, but that's the actress's name. Who does she play? Who's her Office character? I don't remember her name for some reason. I was never that big on her character. She's just kinda bitchy. Has a couple of okay moments. Ryan, I liked during like for like a lot of the show I liked Ryan, but I feel like as the show went on, they just kind of didn't know what to do with him anymore. And he got lost, but it happened sooner than the last season. I mean, he's barely even in the final season. But it just kind of felt like they ran out of steam with him. Like, seasons 1 through 3, he's the temp. It's funny. I enjoy his character a lot. He's kind of like the normal one. And then that changes. Season 4, he becomes the boss. And I thought that was an interesting direction to take him. And then in season 5, he joins the Michael Scott Paper Company. I thought all 5 of those seasons had pretty interesting directions to take Ryan in. And then I think after that, they just kind of ran out. He basically became like a hipster character who was always trying to start his own business, start his own ideas, but like wouldn't actually commit to any of them. Yeah, I don't know. Kelly is her name. No, don't put her in D. She doesn't suck. She's not a bad character. She's not one that I especially enjoyed. Her okay character, I forget her name. Creed. Very, kind of like Moe's, just a really good bit character. Never is in the show from season 1, like from the first episode to the last episode, and he is never the main character of a single episode. It's always just a line or a joke for an episode. Maybe sometimes it's a visual gag. Even when he takes over, there's an episode where he takes over as the boss because the bosses keep switching. Even that one, there's not a lot of focus on Creed, but it's great. It works perfect for what it is. Her, forget her name. She's with Michael for a while, but before that, she's kind of the boss. Or one of, Michael's higher up. She's fine. I like where they take it. I like where she's just kind of like, again, just another, like, voice that kind of speaks out against Michael. She's a lot more normal than Michael. And she kind of gets an attitude with him for his shit. But then they actually get into a relationship, and it just turns into the most uncomfortable shit ever. That's why I mean with cringe humor of the show. It is humor that is is designed to make you cringe. It is designed to make you feel uncomfortable. And I think they did really well with her and Michael. There's an episode where they have a dinner party, and that's probably the most uncomfortable episode of the show. Toby, funny. It's so depressing, too, though. It's funny how mean-spirited the other characters are to him. Especially Michael, of course. But you feel so bad for him. Like, Parks and Rec does it, too. Where they have Jerry, a character that everyone's just really shitty to. But Jerry, they did an interesting spin on it. Where even though everybody at work treats him like shit, he has the best fucking life imaginable at home. He has like an amazing life. He lives to 100 years old. Everybody in his family is gorgeous. He's like 100. He dies like the day after his 100th birthday, and then at his funeral, his wife is there, and they don't age up the wife. Like it's it's just he has like a really good fucking life, and that like completely makes up for how poorly he's treated at work. Where Toby, he's just this the fuck. Even in the final season, it's just depressing. And no, the final episode, he ends in a really bad spot, and you feel so bad for his character. His character's a little bit of a creep, but he doesn't deserve that. But it's funny. It's like finding comedy and tragedy. That's what Toby is, and I think it's done very well. And I did not like Will Ferrell's character. He's only in there for a few episodes. I don't think I hate him as much as everyone else does, but I don't even think I can put him in C because I just, generally did not enjoy watching him. And yeah, there we go. That's another fucking tier list shit show video. I like doing these just because I get to talk about the TV shows, and I'll keep doing them until I run out of shows that I want to talk about. The Office just felt like, why not? I've watched the show more than once. Let's do it. But I will admit, like I said at the beginning of this, I think that we could fucking stop The Office for a bit. I mean, if you want to talk about The Office, fucking talk about The Office. Fuck what I'm saying. But I just so fucking tired of it. So fucking tired of it as a show. I'm so tired of hearing about it. But now I got my opinion out on it. I got my 2 cents in about it. I think it's a solid show. I think I think the first 3 seasons are excellent. 4 through 7 are okay, like pretty funny still, but I think they're starting to run out of steam. And then the last 2 are significantly less good without Michael Scott, but I think they both have interesting stuff to do, and there's scenes in both of them that I find very funny. Whenever I watch The Office, if I'm going to watch the show, I'm not going to skip the last 2 seasons. It's not like Community where I'm skipping season 4. I watch every season, so. But that's not to say Community's worse than The Office. Community's much, much better than The Office. Just doesn't have as many quality seasons as The Office does. But it's a shorter show. That's enough. Bye.